This is Dumfries and Galloway in southwest Scotland. It's a lovely part of the world with mountains and coastal plains. But like many rural areas, it suffers from depopulation, an old elderly population, and not much employment. And the main employment, in fact, is agriculture and tourism, and the restoration of Sorby Tower will make a great impact on that tourist potential. Sorby is in the Mackers of Wigtonshire, that's the low-lying plains, very near to Whithorn, and Whithorn is where St Ninian landed in 397, and it's really the cradle of Christianity in Scotland. The total membership today, almost half the Can membership is in America, and that's one of the reasons why we're here. That's followed by England, Scotland, and Australia. The Can Handy Society was formed in 1960 by representatives of the family from America, Australia, England, Scotland, and Ireland, and it was from the start always international. And this is a picture of one of the early meetings in 1962. In 1983, the Can Society was granted its coat of arms and by the Lord Larne in Scotland. And you can see the shield there with three roebuck's head and the Can crest, crescent moon with a cross in a crescent moon. At the same time, a tartan appeared. This is, there's a long story about this, but cut it short. This is based on a lowland shepherd's plaid with a very distinctive yellow line, and that tartan is also approved by the Lord Larne as the official Can Handy tartan. And there are many variants of it. Anybody can invent a tartan, but that is the handy tartan. Can crest, per ardua and alta, through hardship to the heights. And again, that crest in the middle of a crescent rune with a cross. And that commemorates the fact that the Hannies fought in the Fourth Crusade of the 13th century. The tower was lived in for 200 years and was abandoned in 1748 and became a ruin. And that's a photograph in about 1900 when it was covered in ivy and there were no trees around it there, a very derelict building indeed. It was donated to the Can Handy Society in 1965, since when Can members have spent a lot of time and effort in maintaining the building and maintaining the ruin. But it became too ruinous to do without scaffolding, which is very expensive, and in 2001 and 2005 we had substantial Heritage Lottery Fund grants to scaffold the whole building, to repoint the lime mortar and to make the wall heads watertight. And you can see there the work with the scaffolding up in order to get to the top of the building. But within 10 years, the building was again becoming dangerous, and we had a condition survey with what we call a cherry picker, looking because of falling masonry. And that revealed that at the top of the tower, and vegetation was growing out of the walls and gradually destroyed it. And after a full condition survey, an option appraisal and a business plan, we came to the conclusion that the only way forward, the best way forward, was complete restoration, because if something remains a ruin, it becomes more ruinous. It means you've got to spend money every 10, 15 years to get back to where you started from, and that ruin does not bring any income. And our vision is that we will restore the tower and be able to let it as a holiday let. And in Scotland, castles are very popular for people to come in. They like to spend holidays there. I think if I lived in a castle in the 17th century, 18th century, I'd probably moved out, because they're not very good if they're getting old with stone stairs and cold and cloth. But for holiday lets, they are very popular, and it brings in a good income. So that is our vision. On the piano, with things saying "do not remove," these are copies of the condition survey, the option appraisal, and the business plan. So don't take them away, they were very expensive to get done, but they are the professional rationale behind what we are trying to do. Meanwhile, the grounds and the site are used for annual Can gatherings, weddings, school parties, educational, so the whole site there has got a huge value, quite apart from the building, which is, as I say, we had to close because it is getting dangerous. Meanwhile, the Can Handy marches on. This is the Maxwell Highland Games in 2008, with our own Frank Lawler waving the flag. We led that. This is 2009 with a constable taking photographs in the front. This is coming up the Royal Mile in Edinburgh. And this is a model of the tower, which, where we hope to visit a model made by Bob Hanna from Bradford. And that's the kind of vision which we're aiming for. And shortly, Stephen is going to give you a tour of the tower. Before we do that, I'd just like to remind you about the brochure. This has a donation form in it which you can take out, and all donations are made via the American Scottish Foundation, which is a non-profit organisation, so the donations are fully tax deductible. And the donations will be recognised, and Stephen will talk about that a bit later. Now, this event would not have been possible without the help of the American Scottish Foundation, of which we're now a partner organisation. And that was made possible by Camilla Hellman. Now, where's Camilla?
Hello, Camilla.
Camilla, who's worked incredibly hard. She sent out the invitations, has handled the replies and the donations, and we really couldn't have got where we are without her. So Camilla, please come forward. And we've got a little bouquet for you in recognition of all you've done. Which is also organising the whole pattern. Okay, well, I'm now going to hand over to Stephen, who's going to give you a tour of Sorby Tower.
So how does my story start with Sorby Tower and the Clan Hanna Society? So it starts back in about 2001. Just before that, we've been to holidays, because we're actually from Liverpool, and we've been to holidays in Scotland, and Chris would always joke about the famous Clan Hanna, Mug Hannas, you know, and all this business. So I eventually found in a tartan shop, as you all know, it's incredibly difficult to find our tartan. Anyway, of course, it's getting much easier with the Clan Society. Anyway, so we found Sorby Tower, and 2001 we turned up there. We're quite impulsive people, and within 3 years we'd sold our businesses and indeed moved to Garlaston, which is just 2 miles down the road. And the rest is history, as they say. Okay, that's enough about me. So Sorby Tower. I'm very honoured to be part of the team that's heading this restoration idea. And we're just going to move forward on some slides here of how Sorby looks at the moment, and there's some other slides of how it's going to look in the future, fingers crossed. And our plans indeed for that. Now, there will be time later for you to ask our team some questions about how we're going to do this. So here's some of the slides. So the first one, as David said, is Sorby is on the Macas. Macas means reclaimed land. So it's about 1.5 miles inland from Garlaston, which is a fishing village, and Sorby Tower is actually hiding in the woods. It never used to be surrounded by timber. It was would have been on natural promontory on the side of a loch, and that's what Sorby means, sour land. In the last couple of years, we've put in made the car park bigger, extended the car park. Sorry, really difficult to say that, isn't it, sometimes? And we've added electricity onto the site. Now, the main subject tonight, of course, is the tower itself. But here you can see just through the gateway there is the motte, which dates that back to about the 12th century. This shows you a picture of the motte with a flying bridge. Then you've got a drawbridge. At the top of the motte there you've got a palisade fence around it with a higher status building on there. So although Sorby is inland, it's quite a good part of its defensive structure anyway. Here we see the tower itself in glorious sunshine, and the plinth, as people will have seen if you've been there. In its former glory, it looked a bit more like this, with its pepper pot turrets. There's 3 of those. The Sorby Tower is actually built between 1450 and 1550. It's an L-shaped tower house, and it will have developed over a number of years. It may not have been originally an L shape. When the family got more and more wealth, they could have added on rooms, added on floors, and indeed added on a staircase wing as well. You see today, from a slightly different angle, Sorby Tower missing a lot of its window surrounds. It is hoped as part of the restoration that they will be replaced. But you can see how straight the walls are even today. So we come round to the courtyard, so you can see the doorway there, the re-entrance. The courtyard would have been surrounded by a bark-in wall. And this indeed is actually the front of Sorby Tower. It would have been accessed through the woods really originally. This is some of the fundraising that was done in 1970. An exciting time for the Clan Society of the Sorby Tower, because last year is the first time that dressed sandstone was replaced in the tower itself at third floor level, so we really have got some momentum going there and want to continue that. Yeah, moving on to the doorway here, you can see remnants of the original stonework. There's enough of the stonework to work out how it would have looked originally, and indeed above the doorway there we've got what would have been the base of a grotesque head, which is actually on this bartizan. This is slices, if you like, of almost like cake of sandstone. Really interesting the way it's fitted, but I can't go into that just now because of time restraints. But what it does is it brings the turret off from the wall. This is looking up and you can quite clearly see that. And there's no staircase in there, so it's almost, it would have provided the spine for the building itself. Without it, it's not in a good position really. The fireplace, as I've already said, was put in about 1970. I just wish they'd carried on the work then. When the fireplace was ripped out, after 1748, Sorby Tower was a ruin. If you were building a cottage or a dike, a wall as we call it, it's a great place to come as a quarry. They've taken the stonework from the fireplace, and in doing so, they've weakened the vaulting there. That's why you can see sunlight streaming through. That shouldn't be like that. So that's probably going to be the next point of restoration. Some of the vaulted rooms down below. This is looking back through to where the dungeon would be, that's what I call it, and then just through down to the left there is where the well is. And you can also just see a glimpse of the staircase. The staircase is really nice proportions. It was actually stolen out of Sorby Tower and taken to Ravenston. We're really good friends with Steve from Ravenston Castle, and it was stolen back by some, I won't say who, but it came back to rightful owner. So we have a little bit tussle when we go up the stairs, but anyway, he's more than welcome to come back. The doorway here would have had what's called a yett, which is ironwork inside, a trellis ironwork. So if you were going to try and get access or entry to the tower without being welcome, you could set fire to it, but you couldn't get past the yett. And the yett, the hinges are still there, and then there's two huge drawbars which would have gone right into the wall on the right-hand side and come over to the door jambs on the left. So we've sort of gone up those first couple of stairs and then turned around to the right. Those who have been to the tower will have already seen this. You're looking up at the doorway through to what's our Great Hall. It's not just great, it's amazing because we're hammers at Sorby Tower. And just above that you've got the closet toilets. So quite fine living really for this time in history. So at about 18-inch height there's a nice shelf, which is where a very finely carved toilet seat would be, a bucket underneath to catch the business, and then just up the wall there, there'll be two holes in the wall, one for venting for fresh air, and on the right-hand side of each of those would be what's called a moss box, and that's basically Kleenex in the 16th century. We can just see here one of the steel beams, and that is at the moment holding the staircase turret apart. There's where the staircase should be. I think you all agree it'd be much easier to get up there if we had some stairs back in the place. You can see one of the last fireplaces. It's the only original fireplace that exists in Sorby Tower. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to sit in front of that? You can see here some of the tower is made from grey wacky, which is a local stone, and then you use lime mortar, and then you use a render. So it wouldn't have been stone inside or out. It would have had a nice smooth render. It would have looked quite a fine building, and this is some of its original render. So you can see the quality of workmanship original is quite amazing. This is standing looking back out through our great hall doorway. You can see there where the where the joist sockets are for the floor above. Most of the room at the moment, the hall, is covered in scaffolding. We've now purchased this at about £3,700, and that's already paid for itself. It now gives me access to the upper floors. Before that, I was doing it via ladder, which is extremely dangerous. But I'm stupid, as other people keep telling me, so now I can do it safely from the top of the scaffolding. And this is then left up after the works to reinstate that stonework at the third floor. This is the view, one of the views from the window down onto the lawn, and we've got a great sort of shed there. We've done some drainage work on the lawn, and I think you'll appreciate that's a really nice little view there. Some more of the holes and places where fireplaces would be about 15 fireplaces in Sorby. You can just imagine how much work would be involved to get the timber there to keep those fires going. But we're Scots, so we're pretty tight, so you just have the one lit in the room you're in, you just move the timber around. Well, then you can see the holes where the windows would be, and then some of the sockets which actually would be probably cupboards. So if you had a lamp or say a candle lit there, you're not going to burn the place down. There's the beams I've already mentioned. Here's the concrete, reinforced concrete beams which have just been installed last year. So that reinforces the archway above and the stonework above that. We need to keep that momentum going with the building. It's very difficult to get the permissions to do this work. We've broken through that, and yeah, I can't encourage you enough, really. This is internal guttering, stone guttering, which you can't normally see from down below because we've got the scaffolding you can here, so it's beautifully carved. We've got enough of that to see where that would have been in the other parts of the building. Part of the back of a turret there, so you can see where the lightest mortar is where it's just been pointed. So that was one of the two phases that David touched on. If you've got vertigo, you shouldn't be watching this. That's looking back down where the staircase should be. And we've now got, this is at the bottom here of the picture, that's the new double doorway. You can't really, doesn't do it justice there, but the scaffolding's in the way, so apologies for that. Again, this is looking from the top of the scaffolding right the way down into the kitchen. Yeah, there's a few holes to fix there, but I don't think it's too major. You can see my ladders there in the picture. Yeah, I don't want to climb them. Okay, so we can see here the motte we've already spoken about, Sorby Tower there, just at the top of the picture, and then into the woods. There is actually a medieval village in the woods. Sorby Tower is the last remnant of that medieval village. We don't own the woods, but we go on very well with the farm owner, so she's had us really good to us. So that's Hannah Avenue there, okay? Much better than Park Avenue or Fifth Avenue or any other avenue. Here's the ditch that would have gone right the way around the site. It's only when you stand in the bottom of that ditch you realise just how much effort the Hannahs were making to protect Sorby Tower. We've been trying to protect it for a number of years. And that's the old medieval well there, so it's be nice to have that cleared sometime maybe. How Sorby looks today and how it could look in the future. With the dormer windows, half in the wall head, half in the roof, the turrets. Wouldn't it be just great to see her up to where she should be? David touched on the tartan there. It's nice to see so many people in their tartan today. How proud are you to wear that? So Vinca Minor is the periwinkle, that's our clan flower. Before the badges, that's what you'd paint on your helmet. So that's your clan flower there. And it grows lots, I don't want to say a weed, but it grows like a weed at Sorby Tower. The tower again being used, this is for a cancer fundraising charity event, amazing. And again back to Sorby Tower. If there's one project that we should be involved in and we should protect, there is no doubt about it. I am very biased about this, right? I make no bones about it, but it's Sorby Tower. We should be definitely defending that, and we should be putting a roof back on it, you know? Chris has said that once or twice. So what could you expect in Sorby Tower the next time you come to stay in your castle, as Ren would call it? Yeah. And you'll see her video in a minute. So what you'd see in the hallway is exactly this. If we could fix the vaulting in the kitchen, that would lead you over to the doorways on the left and right, and the window would be in the same place there. A nice table, fireplace. Even our dog Lucy at the time thought the fireplace was great, and she actually said herself, "Why hasn't our castle got this?" Nice bedrooms, nicely appointed, with beautiful views over the bay. Toilets, bathrooms, all of it. Okay, so Sowerby Tower, the best project on the planet.